conduct that the FBI wanted her for questioning reinforces her central role in deliberately creating a culture which put her own political ambitions above State Department rules and jeopardized our national security.
All right, so what about the legal implications of all this? We're going to bring in David Bruno, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor and trial attorney, and Alex Ozels, criminal defense attorney. Welcome to you both. All right, it's a huge day. David, I'm going to start with you. Meeting with the FBI, Hillary Clinton, and answering these questions is a big deal no matter who you are.
Absolutely.
Hillary Clinton says she was pleased to have the opportunity to do this. What do you think of that language?
That's nothing but political spin. I mean, this is not good for Hillary Clinton whatsoever. There are so many problem areas that could have been questioned that she has to be concerned. And this is a violation of rule number 1 for criminal defense attorneys. You know, when you're a target of an investigation, you invoke your right to remain silent. And that was an option for her. She had to choose either invoke her right to remain silent or give this statement. And she had to for her to continue politically, absolutely. So that was a big dilemma for her.
Alex is another criminal defense attorney, and if you were her attorney, what do you tell her to do at this meeting? You know, you don't ever want your client giving any information that could come back to bite them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I was her attorney, there's no way I would tell her to talk with them. I would say to her, there's absolutely no way you can say anything to these officials. I don't want them trying to build a case against her. I don't want them spinning anything that, you know, she's saying to them. But if I were her campaign manager, that's a whole nother story. I'd be telling her, you have to talk. Because if she doesn't talk, then there's the implication that she's hiding something, and that would ruin her trust with America.
And David, what do you make of all the timing of this? Okay, so first we're seeing this finally happen just before the conventions at the end of the month. And second, she spent 3.5 hours. What does that tell you, if anything, about what happened behind these closed doors?
You know, I'm actually surprised it only took 3.5 hours. I would have thought that it would take a whole day or multiple days with all of the possible emails that would have to be gone over. I mean, she provided 55,000 emails as a result of the FOIA request. And one of the huge danger areas, actually, is earlier this week, we found out that 34 emails were actually deleted and not turned over in the 55,000 that were on Huma Abedin's account. So I'm surprised it didn't take longer. Why only 3.5 hours?
I mean, I guess there's potential that there could be more meetings, right?
Absolutely, sure. It can, but I would think that it would have taken longer today.
Okay, Alex, you know, we've got to talk about the private meeting between former President Bill Clinton and Attorney General Loretta Lynch. It's the other big political topic people can't get enough of today. So what do you think the fallout will be on this for Hillary Clinton and this investigation?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of strange that Bill Clinton met with the Attorney General beforehand, and that, to me, the only real thing I can say about that is strange. But when you look into this further, now a lot of the American public is probably thinking, okay, they're closing in on Hillary Clinton. This is when they're gonna make the arrest. They're gonna do this. That's why she's having the interview. But a lot of the times this happens, and the FBI is doing this to kind of put on a show, to show the people that they're investigating this. However, I think there's just as much of a likelihood of a chance that in a couple weeks the FBI may say, we did this, we researched it, she's cleared of everything.
Wow.
The Clintons are a very powerful family. There's been millions and millions of dollars invested in this campaign. I would say for them to arrest her at this point is little to none.
Okay, well, David, your thoughts on this private meeting on the plane. What do you think this means for the career of Lynch?
Well, it's a problem for me, and it has been since I first heard. I mean, the transparency of investigations needs to be critical in general, but more so in this particular case, where America is watching. We have a presumptive candidate that is a target of a federal investigation, and we have a former president speaking to the head of the DOJ. Problematic, and I was surprised that she didn't recuse herself after hearing this information.
All right, guys, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with us today on this historic day in politics.
Thank you. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
campaign went to ground. They were not answering emails or phone calls. And then we get the statement. There was activity here at her DC home, so we suspected something was amiss. It was up. And then we received the statement at a little after noon today that she had met with them. So this is probably, we're told from sources close to the investigation, probably one of the final phases, suggesting the investigation could be coming to an end, because typically they would interview the main subject of an investigation like this towards the end of an investigation. It also happens to come, Molly, on a week that was somewhat embarrassing for Secretary Clinton, when it was revealed that her husband, Bill Clinton, had had an impromptu meeting for 30 minutes on the tarmac in Arizona with Attorney General Loretta Lynch at a time when he knew, and they both knew, that she was under investigation. So it's been a very unusual week for the Clinton campaign, Molly.
Certainly has. You've been out there on the trail. What was notable to you about that meeting?
Well, I think what was notable is that this is not how the campaign hoped this week would go. Remember where we started on Monday. We started in Cincinnati, Ohio, with a big rollout, with a very prominent meeting and speech given by Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Secretary Clinton. It was the first time they were seen on stage together. It was generally seen as an audition. Warren, of course, is on the short list to be Hillary Clinton's vice president. That was how the campaign wanted to start the week. They didn't know that at about the same time, Bill Clinton was walking over to Attorney General Lynch's plane in Arizona, and that would blow up a few days later when a reporter would leak that in fact, the meeting had taken place, forcing Attorney General Lynch to say on Thursday that she would accept the recommendations of her career prosecutors and the FBI in this case. She did not recuse herself from the case, even though some have called for not only a special investigator, but also her to recuse herself from the Clinton email case. Molly.
All right, Jennifer Griffin, thank you so much. Fascinating, certainly a lot to do with politics here. Stay with us. We'll have plenty more ahead as the news of former Secretary Clinton's meeting with the FBI also continues to break. A fair and balanced debate with our political panel on just how this is all likely to play out on the campaign trail, and also those legal ramifications for Mrs. Clinton. Our legal panel weighs in on that as well. All ahead in this hour. Stay with us.
The car veering off the road and hitting a 500-pound gas main valve with an electrical power line close by. That natural gas line started to burn and then sparked a fire at a training facility. Crews arriving at the scene about 10 minutes after the crash, turning the gas off. The driver taken to a local hospital.
Fire, which officials say has grown to over 3,200 acres with only 12% containment so far. The flames are threatening about 2,600 structures. Mandatory evacuations also in place for the surrounding areas due to the increased wildfire activity.
How about this? Hail the size of golf balls damaging a whole lot of cars at an apartment complex in Colorado. It was sparked by a powerful thunderstorm that brought very heavy damage to the area yesterday afternoon. The hail crashing through car windows, ruining plants. The apartment complex now working to help